Okay, so the next lab that you're going to do is determination of a melting point, and you're going to be using the chemicals urea and cinnamic acid. Okay? And so the first thing you're going to do is just measure out with a spatula. You're going to just measure out a little bit of each chemical onto a watch glass. You don't need much at all. Now, let me show you how to load the capillary tube. So the capillary tubes are in a little plastic container that's labeled capillary tube. Make sure you pay attention to that because there are other kinds of tubes back there. And when you open this up, what you're going to see is that the capillary tube has one end that's closed and one end that's open. So you're going to invert the tube to the open end and just begin to mash it into the solid compound. You're just going to get a little bit of it loaded into the tube like that. You're going to flip this around and gently tap it onto the table so that all of the solid is then packed down at the bottom. And that's as much as you need. You don't need any more than that. Okay? So you don't want to fill this all the way up with the chemical. Then you're going to take this capillary tube and place it into the melting point with the close end going in first. Okay? And that's the way you're going to load that tube in there. And when you look inside the melt temp device, you will see that there is a little slit right up front here that you can then drop the tube down in there. And there'll be three different, yeah, I see it, I think. There'll be three different chambers inside there that you can look through the magnifying glass and see, yeah, there, you can see the tube inside there. And so it'll be in a chamber there, and that's what you begin watching for as it starts to melt. Okay? Alright, so the other part of this lab is that you will then take equal amounts of cinnamic acid and urea. So we're going to put urea in there first, and I just need a little spatula full, not much. And you want to get a different spatula, a different clean spatula for the cinnamic acid. You don't want to contaminate our chemicals. You will get about an equal amount of the cinnamic acid and put it inside there. And then we will mix these up. We want to use a mortar and pestle to grind these up really well so we have a nice mixture like that. And then we can get this out of there with the spatula, put it on a different watch glass, and with another capillary tube you then do the same thing. So the open end, you will grind it down in the solid, invert it over, and tap it down. Okay? So you will be using three different tubes. One tube will have urea, one tube will have cinnamic acid, and one tube will have the mixture. Now if you mess up at any point during the melting point, as you're taking it, remember that you don't need to get another tube, because as this melts inside the tube, if you simply just remove it from the melt temp device, it will re-solidify and you can start over again. So you will only ever need to pack one tube per chemical. Okay? And the longest part of this lab will be your calibration of getting the melt temp device to increase 1 degree per minute. Okay? And we'll talk more about that in the lab lecture. But that will be all that you need to do for the melting point lab.